Hey guys, Danzix here, back with another Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty video. This time covering the best and most notable cyberwares you can equip. Cyberwares can give you a variety of effects, like increasing your damage, your armor, giving you active camo, slowing down time, or giving you more serious rage than a last-gen console owner trying to play Cyberpunk for more than 8 seconds. Enough time to activate this, a Militech Sandevistan, and run laps around your enemies. So what should you aim for? Which ones should you equip? This video hopes to answer those questions, with timestamps below. The Cyberware system has received a complete overhaul with 2.0 and Phantom Liberty, so do note that a lot of powerful cyberwares have a high cyberware capacity cost. If you reach this limit, denoted by the bar on the left, you can no longer equip any more cyberware. This bar can be increased with cyberware or with skills in the tech tree. Cyberware, like items, will have randomly rolled stats at the bottom, so since they're random, I won't be mentioning them. Cyberware also has attunement, which means the more points you have in the attuned attribute, the higher bonuses you'll get. You can also get most of these cyberware from any Ripper dock, though if you can't see one at your local, look around for others on your map, or you simply might not have progressed far enough to see them all. So let's run through every single category and every single piece of cyberware I think you should take a look at. Before we start, thanks to Nvidia's 40 series graphics cards, new tech is available right now that makes the graphics absolutely breathtaking without sacrificing frames and even, in my testing, improving them from what they were. What you're seeing now is full ray tracing with the new DLSS 3.5, which introduces ray reconstruction. This is an enhanced AI that soups up your ray tracing and frame generation to ultra realistic levels. So check it out and let's continue. Let's start with the Frontal Cortex, which hosts a lot of cyberware that improve the overall quick hack experience, with the standout being the COX-2 Cybersomatic Optimizer. It allows your quick hacks to deal critical hits, and this version also gives 100% crit chance with quick hacks, so you'll always be critting with this one piece of cyberware, which I don't need to explain to you is huge. You will notice a massive boost in damage output, but if you can't afford the cost of cash or the 50 cyberware capacity, you can always install the less powerful cyberware, the Bioconductor. It allows you to crit with quick hacks, but it only provides a 35% chance. Nothing to scoff at considering it costs 30 less to your cyberware capacity. Note that both cyberware are attuned to intelligence and give bonuses to all damage for it. Very nice considering it'll be multiplied by the crits. If you don't rely on quick hacks with your build, stay away from Frontal Cortex cyberware until you have nothing left to upgrade. There's the Krasnikov boost system and the Mechatronic core, but both don't provide as much as the other cyberware. Arms are their own topic. Here you have 4 main choices: the Gorilla Arms, the Mantis Blades, the Projectile Launch System, and the Mono Wire. Gorilla if you've invested more in body, Mantis if in reflex, Projectile if in tech, and Monowire if in intelligence. Though some versions are attuned with different stats, like the Toxic Gorilla Arms attuned to cool, which would work well for a poison related build. I'll leave this up to you to explore based on your own build and what skills or relic upgrades you have available. Next are the skeleton related cyberwares. I spent most of my playthrough with the titanium bones equipped. It gives a bit of armor, a tiny bit of health, and doesn't take up much capacity, but most of all, it gives you 66% more carry capacity, and I do love hoarding my items. However, one of the best skeleton cyberwares is the Rava Avis. It gives you a 35% increase to your current armor, which can be massive if you have any other armor boosting cyberwares on. Armor, for those who don't know, reduces all damage taken. This cyberware also gives a large boost to health based on body. It does cost a lot of capacity though. If you want a discount version, Parabellum is the way to go as it costs 30 less capacity, but only gives 12% armor increase. You want to pair this with Epimorphic Skeleton, which gives a huge 190 armor, as well as a 13% max health boost. It gives bonuses to health based on the body stat, which is immediately multiplied. At 32 capacity needed, it's not as costly as some of the other big effects. Rava Avis and this together, along with Blood Pump, will make you unstoppable. Even if you're not focused on reflexes, if you play with melee weapons, you'll need the Dense Marrow cyberware. It just flat out gives you melee damage, 24% of it at the cost of 15% more stamina to swing. However, it gives you a fair amount of armor as well as crit chance based on reflexes. Body skills like having low stamina, especially for heavy weapons, so Dense Marrow is surprisingly good for both body, cool, and reflex melee builds. Next is the Nervous System. Now, I've talked a lot about Netrunner and melee builds, but what about ranged weapon builds? Well, you're going to want the Deep Field Visual Interface. This one increases your crit chance the further you are away from your target, maxing out at 95% at 90 meters. Then with investment in cool, you get extra crit damage up to a huge 20%. So any sniper or pistol cool build will be critting basically all of the time for massive damage, and this works with other ranged weapons like assault rifles, be it not as potent because you'll be probably closer up. It costs 40 capacity, so it's not cheap, but it's a must get. The Revulsor is the perfect oh shit cyberware. When your health drops below 25%, you'll get 4 seconds of 60% slowed time where your character isn't slowed to do something about it. I can't tell you how much this cyberware has saved my life, as it gives you time to heal or escape or take out the people who haven't yet seen the error of their ways. The Adreno trigger gives you a 30% increased movement speed as soon as you enter combat for a long duration, which is increased by your reflex attribute. I can't tell you how valuable it is zipping around the battlefield. The only build that maybe doesn't care is one focused on sniping or headshots, but even the knife-based headshot build likes this mobility. Don't get the cheaper adrenaline converter, it only lasts a tiny 7 seconds. There are some other great cyberwares here for specific cool builds, but Atomic Sensors is the last one I want to note. This one is perfect for those who want to take a stealthy approach, as it increases your movement speed by a huge amount proportional to how almost detected you are. So if you're just about to be seen, you move at 55% extra speed, then you get out of sight or get past hard to stealth sections. It also grants you extra weak point and headshot damage, which is nothing to scoff at, all for only 5 capacity. Next is the Integumentary System. This houses some pretty major armor-based cyberwares. The first being the cellular adapter you can only get if you've unlocked the skill for it in the tech tree. It's the ultimate tech build cyberware, as it gives you a large amount of armor, 20% explosion resistance, 10% tech weapon damage, and 10% item recharge speed, all for 24 capacity. This will be the first time I recommend a cheap cyberware, but basic subdermal armor gives a decent amount of armor for only 4 capacity. A must-get cyberware for stealth builds is one you should rush, the optical camo. It gives a bit of armor, but most of all, it has an activatable that makes you stealth for a short time. I don't need to explain why this is amazing, and it gets even better with the stealth-related relic upgrades. Get it and don't look back. A great cyberware for melee builds is the Peripheral Inverse, giving you a huge 40% damage reduction for enemies 3 meters from you, tapering off to 0% past 6 meters, meaning that getting up close and personal, which you'll be doing, will make enemies basically deal no damage to you. This also works simply reducing all melee enemies' damage if you think of it that way. You can also get the cheaper Proxy Shield, giving you a huge 20% damage reduction from enemies 3 meters away from you, if you can't afford the 32 capacity. One of the more expensive cyberwares at 42 capacity is the Chitin. It gives a huge 200 armor and a massive amount of health regeneration rate at 200% based on 20 body. This will really tank you up if combined with Rava Avis. With all the tanky cyberware I've mentioned, I'd be very surprised if anything can actually harm you. Next is your operating system. Like the ARMS cyberware, you only have one choice to make. Do you want a powerful deck for casting quick hacks? If so, you want the NetWatch NetDriver MK1, which is all around a powerful cyber deck at a high cost to eddies and capacity, but it's what you'll be aiming to get. Until then, use the lesser decks. Or you'll want a Berserk related operating system like the Militech Berserk. When activated, it gives you complete immunity to damage and only lets you use melee weapons, but with a 30% extra attack speed, no stamina cost, and giving you a 20% movement speed buff. You'll also heal based on how many enemies you've killed after it ends. It has a 12-second duration and a 35-second cooldown, with body giving it more damage. This is the operating system you'll use if you're more about just tanking and smashing. Berserk will be up multiple times a fight, and complete damage immunity is godly. Or you want the ability to slow time, edge runner style, with the Sandevistan. If so, one of the most powerful is the Militech Apogee. I think that's how you pronounce it. Apogee, something like that. It's expensive in both ways, but slows time by 85% while not slowing you, basically making you immune to everything as well. It also gives you headshot damage, crit chance, and damage. while neutralizing enemies gets you 20% more duration and 22% stamina. It lasts 8 seconds, so if you kill a target every 1.6 seconds, this effect won't run out. That's not really possible, but the effect is massive. Or if you're a true chromer, the last option you have is for the chrome compressor. Costing no capacity, it simply increases your cyberware capacity by 38, letting you equip more. So those are your 4 real choices. Next is your face cyberware. One of the best ones is unlocked during the story, so let's ignore that. I personally don't care much for the Kiroshi eyes that highlight particular targets. Some people love them, but I much prefer the Kiroshi cockatrice optics, which gives you a flat increased crit chance of 30%. No bells and whistles, just more damage. Though getting something like the Kiroshi, the Oracle optics, is cheaper and great for highlighting things you might have missed around you while stealthing or hacking, keeping you safe. Then we have hands. Hands provide benefits to your weapons, smart links letting you better fire smart weapons, ballistic compressors letting you ricochet bullets with power weapons, and handle wraps giving your throwable weapons a higher crit chance. What is more notable though is the immovable force cyberware. It gives you minus 30% recoil and minus 25% bullet spread. Plus it activates effects for ranged weapons you would normally only get in cover. This is insanely needed for heavy weapon body builds. With this, you'll massively offset the aiming and recoil penalties. When in cover, your accuracy is massively boosted and the recoil is lessened. Some weapons even get pop stands like the heavy snipers, so this cyberware is insanely good. Next is your circulatory system.
Do you have any idea how complicated your circulatory system is?
With the micro rotors, you can swing your melee weapons faster, 23% extra attack speed with extra crit chance based on your reflex. Great for a melee build. I enjoy having the bio monitor equipped. It automatically heals you for your equipped items healing amount when your health drops below 35%. Though if you have extreme levels of tank already, the Revulsor and the Berserk Cyberware, you won't need this. What you might need though is the Blood Pump. It replaces your healing items and gives you a powerful upfront heal and heal over time. If you can spare the 15 capacity, it's worth the investment as you'll be using this to heal back up, and if you've invested in tech, there are plenty of skills that lean on this cyberware. One unique cyberware is the Black Mamba. It only works with a build that focuses on poisoning enemies. Poison enemies will take less poison damage, but 18% extra damage from all other sources, which is better overall because you don't need to slowly kill, you need to kill. The ultimate oh shit cyberware is a second heart. It fully heals you if you were about to die with a 4-minute cooldown. It costs 30 capacity. It's useful if you don't have a lot of tank, very useful, but becomes useless if you have a Biomonitor, Revulsor, Berserk, or any other tanky cyberwares. Last, we have the Legs Cyberware. Here you have to ask yourself a question. Do you want to double jump? Do you want to jump very high in a single bound? Do you want to sprint fast? Or do you want to sneak well? Those are your choices early on, and you should pick one of them as you can't have multiples. However, one notable cyberware is the iconic Leroy Ligament System. Yes, named after Leroy Jenkins. It gives some armor and provides an ongoing 18% movement speed buff for only 8 cyberware capacity. You do lose out on the other leg bonuses, but always being 18% faster is nice, if not wrecking your other playthroughs, as after using this item for a while, you'll feel forever slow without it. And that's everything. What did you think? Any cyberware that I've missed? Let me know below. Be sure to join my Discord if you want to chat all things RPG. For everything else, you're in the right place. Ciao, friends.